So I uploaded my last video on cannabis regulation to YouTube, and it got flagged for inappropriate content. You actually have to click through a warning now if you want to watch it. And I just want to say that I think YouTube really got it wrong here. All of my videos should have a warning. So just a preemptive strike here. Effective immediately, please be advised of the following warning.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
Okay, for all of you still here, thanks for sticking around. Let's talk about insurance technology. All right, let's talk about the insurer versus Insurtech he said, she said panel at the Insurtech Hartford Symposium. First of all, I went into this thinking it was a normal panel. I was wrong. It was actually a skit depicting the courtship between an Insurtech and a carrier. And I really have to give it to all the panelists slash improv actors. You guys rocked it. That's a really unusual role to play at a conference. So I give you 6 all the kudos for diving in like you did. And what I really loved is that the skit covered all the items a panel would have, namely all the challenges that arise when an Insurtech and an insurer vet each other and try to form a partnership. And I think 3 of the core issues presented are pretty manageable with a little foresight, empathy, and planning. First up, timelines. For Insurtech startups, the ticking of the clock is deafening. When you're a young organization, the timeline of a significant deal can make or break you. If you want to survive, you have to move fast. And while insurers are certainly moving at a quicker pace these days, they typically aren't moving startup on the brink of extinction fast. And though the level of existential urgency subsides somewhat as an Insurtech matures, the timeline difference does tend to linger. The key here is transparency. If you're an insurer that's not going to be ready to move on the partnership until Q2 2021, just be clear with the Insurtech about that. That way a 6-month-old startup isn't overpromising their board and setting themselves up for failure in month 7. And this transparency works both ways. If you're that 6-month-old startup, don't promise that the Q2 2021 roadmap functionality can be launched next week. You have to strike a balance between being aggressively optimistic and realistic. One of the funniest references in the skit was around the decision-making differences between insurer and Insurtech. There was an ongoing joke of the key decision maker arriving late to meetings, leaving meetings early, and generally unintentionally delaying proceedings. And I stress unintentional here because it really is. I feel like all of us who've ever been on the insurer side have at some point been that person in a meeting. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really gonna... Oh, it's my project lead. One sec. Hey. The system is doing what with PIP? Is there a workaround? How many policies? So sorry, I just got... That is just life in the trenches of any organization, especially an organization that is working around the clock to digitize and incorporate new systems. So I think this part is just kind of inevitable. There will be magical meetings where everyone's calendars align and you power through your agenda and decision making flawlessly and in perfect sync. And there will be meetings that are rescheduled 12 times and get stuck on the second slide and result in more questions than decisions. Realize that both are progress. Sometimes progress looks like this, and sometimes it looks like this. One piece of advice given by the insurer side of the panel that I thought was applicable to many of the challenges was do your research. Insurtechs, especially those who originated outside of the insurance industry, spend some time here. Learn about, get to know the insurers that you're meeting with. Understand their world, their pain points. This will really help you understand how your solutions fit in their world and how you can best work with them. And obviously on the insurer side, this is critical as well. The Insurtech space is definitely a rapidly developing side of the industry with constant change. I've actually been really impressed with the insurers on this front. Literally every conference I've been to, I've seen carriers showing up and engaging. So keep that up, insurers and conference organizers, keep them coming. I was actually just listening to a podcast featuring Jay Weintraub, one of the founders of Insurtech Connect, talking about his passion for connecting people. This is such a critical component. Those face-to-faces are priceless. And on that note, thanks to Insurtech Hartford for putting together a fantastic event. I really enjoyed the format and the experimentation that I saw. As someone who spent the first 10 years of my career on the insurer side before moving over to Insurtech land, it is thrilling to see insurtechs and insurers across the landscape for meaningful partnerships that are driving substantial concrete change. With all the collaboration happening today, I can't wait to see what the future holds for our industry. Hopefully more partnerships and more appropriately inappropriate content from the Insurance Nerdery. Insurers and insurtechs, let me know in the comments what additional advice you have for those working on building partnerships. And don't forget to subscribe to the Insurance Nerdery, where it is cool to be a nerd. I'll see you next time.